Imagine waking up and something just feels wrong. Not loud, not obvious, but off, like the world is holding its breath, waiting. The sky looks the same. The clock still ticks. But deep down, you can feel it. Like a radio just out of tune, the signal's there, but the static is loud. This isn't just another week. It's a warning disguised as a whisper, a glitch in the timeline, a quiet alarm only a few can hear. And guess what? If you're watching this, you're one of them. People think change shouts. No, it creeps. It leaks in through the cracks when you're distracted. A storm doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it arrives with silence so deep it chokes you. This is that kind of week. A full moon just passed, but instead of feeling lighter, you feel off balance, like you're walking on ground that isn't fully solid. That's not coincidence. That's design. As they say, the devil doesn't come dressed in red. He comes as everything you ever wanted. Be careful. This week is dressed to distract. Everything will seem normal until it doesn't. Don't be fooled. You weren't supposed to find this message. But now that you have, there's no going back. You've stepped into a frequency that most people are blind to. Something strange is unfolding, and you're meant to see it. But only if you keep your eyes open and your energy sharp. So don't scroll past. Like this video, hit subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to claim the frequency and help get this message out. Someone you know needs to see this before it's too late. Because tomorrow is already too late. Now let me tell you what's really going on. And just like that, the shift begins. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet after the full moon, like the sky exhaled, and suddenly the world feels a little more distant. It's not just in your head. It's in the stars, in the silence, in the strange weight pressing against your chest when you can't even name what's wrong. This week is soaked in distance. Not the kind you measure in miles, but the kind you feel when someone you love is right next to you and still feels far away. Mercury, the mind, and the moon, the heart, are both drifting. It's like your thoughts and emotions are walking through fog, unable to find each other. And when your mind and heart lose touch, the soul starts searching. This is the universe giving you a pressure test. Can you still move forward when the ground beneath you feels unfamiliar? You might feel off. You might feel heavy. You might even wonder, why does everything feel colder all of a sudden? Why do I feel like I lost something I can't name? Here's the truth. The moon is at its furthest point from Earth right now. Apogee. It's literally pulling away, and with it, it's dragging emotional baggage out of your orbit. That purge you felt during the full moon, the tears, the tension, the unexpected memories rising like ghosts, that was real. But what's left behind now is the silence. A sacred, unsettling silence, the kind that lingers after something raw is said in a dark room. You might feel ungrounded, alone, even afraid. But sometimes what you feel isn't pain, it's release. Letting go doesn't always come with relief. Sometimes it leaves an echo, like after a wave crashes and the beach feels too quiet. That echo might sound like grief, but it's actually growth in disguise. You didn't lose yourself. You lost a weight you weren't meant to carry anymore. Think of it like this. The moon didn't abandon the Earth. It just gave it space to breathe. And maybe you need that too. Maybe the space you're feeling isn't emptiness. Maybe it's room being made for something better. It's like standing in a doorway after slamming it shut. You're still shaking, but you're finally free. If someone feels distant from you right now, let them drift. If your emotions feel like strangers, let them pass through. Not everything you're feeling belongs to you. Some of it is residue, old energy trying to find a way out. You're in the middle of a soul detox. That strange dizziness, that spiritual vertigo, it's what happens when your soul grows faster than your surroundings can keep up with. So hold steady. The room may feel cold right now, but only because the fire that burned too hot has finally died down. Don't run from the stillness. Lean into it. Because something big just left your life, and something bigger is about to take its place. And here's where things get even stranger. You've let go. You've felt the distance. The echo of something leaving still rings in your chest. But now comes the trickiest part. The moment after the release, when your mind starts to fill in the silence with stories. This space isn't peaceful yet. It's uncertain, unsteady, like standing in a thick fog after a storm has passed, only to realize you can't see what's ahead or behind. This moment isn't supposed to feel tied up in a neat little bow. It's supposed to feel raw, unfinished. That's the test. The universe is watching, not to judge, but to understand. What will you do when the things you thought were yours begin to float just out of reach? Will you chase? Will you cling? Or will you trust the drift? Sometimes when something leaves, it's not loss, it's clarity in disguise. But just as you begin to feel clarity creeping in, the mirage begins. Around April 16th, Mercury, the planet of the mind, crosses paths with Neptune, the master of illusions. That's like asking a dream to give you directions. Nothing feels solid. Truth becomes soft clay, and suddenly you're not sure what's real anymore. This is the most dangerous illusion, the one that feels like truth. Because on days like this, your own thoughts can become shadows dressed in light. Someone says something vague, and your heart writes an entire novel about it. A missed call feels like betrayal. A compliment feels like manipulation. A moment of silence sounds like rejection screaming in your ears. But what if none of it is real? April 16th isn't a day of answers. It's a day of echo chambers. You might think you're getting signs from the universe, but it could just be your own fear, reflected back at you. Like shouting into a canyon and mistaking your own voice for someone else's warning. The people around you may act strangely. They might flip, contradict, say one thing, then say another. But don't be too quick to label them liars. They might just be lost in the same fog you're in. Mercury and Neptune blur the lines between what's said and what's felt. Even intuition can be unreliable here, tinted with projections you didn't even know you were carrying. It's like trying to follow a compass that's been magnetized by your own doubts. You think it's guiding you north, but it's really just spinning toward your own reflection. This moment isn't here to scare you. It's here to sharpen you, to teach you the power of pausing before reacting, before believing every thought, before assuming every feeling is yours. Because the biggest question this week isn't what's true. It's whose voice are you listening to? So if you feel confused, you're not broken. You're just being called to slow down, to look twice, to breathe before believing. This isn't a time to chase clarity. It's a time to wait for the fog to lift. And when it does, you'll be one of the few who didn't lose themselves in the mist. And just as the fog seems like it might lift, the air starts to hum again, restless, electric, strange. That tension you feel, it's not just you. The sky is pulling back even more now. First, the moon stepped away. Now, Mercury, the cosmic messenger, is drifting too. On April 17th, it reaches its farthest point from the sun, a moment called Alien. And when messengers wander off, so do their messages. Suddenly, the world feels just a little out of sync. Words don't land. Texts come too late. Conversations feel like they're dancing around what needs to be said, never quite hitting the note. It's like trying to catch a train that always leaves 1 minute before you arrive. Mercury at Alien makes the mind feel like it's on a solo journey, moving fast, then freezing, then wandering down strange paths without explanation. You might lose your train of thought mid-sentence, or forget why you walked into the room. This isn't confusion, this is calibration. Some truths don't come with flashing lights. Some messages whisper from a distance just to see if you're still listening. And right now, the universe is speaking in riddles. There's wisdom in the delay. If you've been waiting for a sign, a signal, a decision to click into place, pause. The silence is part of the message. This is your training in patience. Can you sit with the unknown without shaking it for answers? Because clarity is coming. But not all at once. This is the moment between inhale and exhale, the sacred stillness before understanding lands. Mercury isn't shouting right now, it's whispering, testing, teaching. You may feel the pull to act fast, to force closure, to demand clarity. But that impulse? It's not coming from truth. It's coming from fear. And then comes April 19th. Quietly, like a door creaking open just wide enough to let in light. On this day, Mercury reaches its highest point in the sky. The wandering messenger finally finds its voice again. And you'll feel it. Maybe before you even open your eyes. A dream you can't shake. A word in your head the moment you wake up. A number on the clock. A song lyric that hits a little too hard. That moment isn't random. It's a delivery. A cosmic message arriving at last. It won't come as a thunderclap. It'll feel more like, of course, that deep, gentle knowing that what you suspected was right all along. It's not brand new. It's been knocking all week. You just needed space to hear it clearly. Everything that felt disconnected, every awkward pause, every missed message, every emotional gap, wasn't failure. It was set up. The quiet was tuning your inner ear. So now, when the message finally comes, it won't just land. It'll resonate. Don't rush this. Don't overthink. Just listen. Because this week didn't confuse you for no reason. It confused you to prepare you for the moment when truth finally speaks. And this time, you hear it. And here we are. The pattern reveals itself. You've felt the fog. You've sat in the silence. You've noticed the delay, the space, the strange emotional cold front passing through. But now you see it's not random. This was never chaos. It was choreography. The sky has been moving pieces into position all week, and the strange feeling in the air? That's the weight of alignment. The kind that can't be seen at first, only felt. Remember when I said something weird was happening? This is it. Not one, not two, but 3 celestial bodies, all backing away, all reaching their furthest points, all in the same week. First, the moon. On April 13th, it begins its departure, drifting to its farthest distance from Earth. The emotional tide loosens its grip. The gravitational pull that normally tugs at your feelings lets go, just slightly. And suddenly, you feel a bit unanchored. You cry without knowing why, or you don't cry, even when you should. Then April 16th hits. The moon doesn't just drift from Earth, it also slips to its farthest point from the sun, entering its alien phase. It's like your emotional center just turned down the volume on the light. And the glow you usually count on to help you understand your feelings dimmed. And if that wasn't enough, Mercury, the messenger, the mind, joins in. On April 17th, it too reaches alien. The thinker drifts, logic wanders, communication blurs. It's like you're trying to tune into a radio station, but no matter how carefully you turn the dial, all you get is static, or a song you don't quite recognize. 3 departures, 3 echoes, heart, mind, and spirit, all floating just a little further away than usual. That's not coincidence. That's a message wrapped in metaphor. When the moon drifts, emotions rise like mist, formless, untouchable. When Mercury distances, thoughts become puzzle pieces that don't fit the picture. And when both the moon and Mercury reach their respective aliens, they don't just leave, you do too. Parts of you start to feel out of place, disconnected, unreachable, even to yourself. So, what do you do when the most emotionally, mentally, and spiritually charged forces all step back at once? You breathe. This isn't a breakdown. It's space. And space doesn't mean abandonment. It means invitation. The kind of pause that makes room for a whisper to finally be heard. The kind of emptiness that gives you a chance to meet yourself again without the noise of everything else crowding your head. This week isn't about what's disappearing. It's about what's being revealed because of the silence. You might feel emotionally distant, spiritually quiet, mentally fuzzy. But this isn't a test you pass by doing more. It's one you pass by listening better and trusting deeper. Sometimes the divine doesn't send louder signs. Sometimes it just backs away to see what you'll do when there are none. And that's when it gets real. This isn't a week of fireworks or thunder. It's a week where the tiniest ripple hits like a wave. A lyric plays and makes your heart race. A random number keeps showing up and somehow feels like a countdown. Someone says something small and it punches right through your chest like the universe tucked a message inside their mouth. You'll be tempted to ignore it, to say, "I'm overthinking," or "It's just coincidence." But don't. These aren't accidents. These are divine breadcrumbs. But they're not meant for everyone. They're encrypted in your frequency. If it speaks to you, it's yours. Let others call it chance. You already know better. And when the guidance seems to vanish altogether, when the signs stop flashing and the spiritual GPS goes quiet, that's when the real test begins. Can you keep walking even when the lights go out? Can you trust your own feet when the road doesn't glow anymore? Because this is where followers fall behind and leaders are born. This is the quiet that carves out clarity, the stillness that sharpens intuition into faith. When your spirit guides step back, it's not because they've ghosted you, it's because they're watching, observing, asking a question they can't ask out loud. Do you really trust this path? Or were you just trusting the signs? This is the part where you stop waiting for permission and start moving from knowing. Not because it's easy, but because something inside you already knows. You've been training for this. Every time you questioned yourself and still moved forward, that was training. Every moment of silence you sat with instead of running from, that was training. Every time you chose to trust a tiny gut feeling instead of needing proof, that was you, becoming fluent in your own intuition. Now the universe is listening back. What you do in this space matters. What you choose when no one is watching, that's your frequency in motion. That's the vibration that will echo back louder than any sign ever could. Not just to your guides, but to the timeline you're building. Because we're not just talking about days and planets. We're talking about alignment, about a cosmic reset button being pressed, not to erase you, but to refocus you, to pull the distractions away long enough for you to hear your own voice again. So, if this week feels empty, good. That means there's room. If this week feels disconnected, good. That means you're no longer tied to what isn't aligned. If you feel like your spirit team is silent, smile. They trust you enough to watch what you do next. And if you've been waiting for a breakthrough, look closer. It may not come with trumpets and lightning. It might come in a breath, a blink, a moment that feels too quiet to matter until it changes everything. You're not being abandoned. You're being awakened. And the ones who keep walking in the dark, those are the ones who light the way for others. So go on. Walk. Even if you feel blind. Because this week, silence isn't empty. It's sacred. So now that you know what kind of week this really is, the next question is probably echoing in your mind. What should I do with all this energy? Should I act or should I wait? Should I cleanse, release, manifest, or just be still? The answer isn't simple, but it is sacred. Because this isn't a week for bold leaps. This is a week for quiet, intentional movements, for rituals that don't need candles and circles, but presence and truth. When the cosmos pulls back, it's not asking you to shout, it's asking you to listen. But that doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right kind of something. Here's how you can move through this space with power. Number 1, the ritual of listening, daily quiet check-ins. Find 5 minutes each day, just 5. Not to meditate, not to visualize, not to fix anything, but to check in. Sit somewhere quiet. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And then don't rush to answer. Let the feelings rise naturally, like mist over water. You might feel tired, you might feel distant. That's okay. The point is to reconnect, not to control. You're creating a space for truth to show up on its own time. This ritual isn't flashy, but it's powerful. It helps you stay rooted in your frequency while the world is spinning around in confusion. Number 2, the ritual of release. Burn or bury it. If something heavy has come up, an old emotion, a lingering thought, a pattern you're finally ready to part with, write it down. No judgment, no edits, pour it out, and then safely burn it. Or if that's not possible, bury it somewhere with intention. Why? Because when the cosmos is creating space, so should you. Letting go physically can help you let go energetically. You're not just burning paper, you're lighting the fuse that signals to the universe, I'm done carrying this. Number 3, the ritual of non-action, spiritual restraint. This might be the hardest one, but also the most transformative. If you feel the urge to force clarity this week, don't. If you want to text someone just to get a reaction or make a decision just to feel control again, pause. Sometimes the most powerful ritual is restraint. Sitting in the discomfort of not knowing and choosing not to grasp. This teaches your spirit something deeper than any vision board ever could. Faith without proof. That is spiritual maturity. That is where real manifestation power begins. So no, this isn't a week to cast huge spells or do high-energy rituals. It's not about fire, it's about space, about allowing, about trusting that the silence isn't empty. It's sacred preparation. If you do anything this week, let it be intentional. Let it be quiet. Let it be something that helps you hear your own voice a little clearer. Because in a world pulling away from itself, you staying grounded in your truth. That's the real magic. And now, as this week continues to unfold, remember, the silence isn't your enemy, it's your invitation. What feels distant now is only making space for something closer, something truer to rise. So trust the pause. Trust yourself. If this message found you at the right time, it's not by accident. Like this video, subscribe for more, and drop the number 77 in the comments to lock in the energy and help this message reach someone else who needs it. You are not lost. You are being led. Stay awake. Stay grounded. The message will arrive when you're ready.